everybody can hear us.
Yay!
It's E3 week, and it's gaming and technology, and we can't use it today. Sorry, folks.
It's just
It's
new tech.
all it's all in the cloud. It's all streaming.
It's a
Streaming
series of
makes the world
tubes,
go
and our
around.
tubes got overfilled today, and I apologize. And so when the tubes got full, nothing worked.
Hey, talk about your own tubes. Don't bring up anybody
It's
else's
the internet
tubes.
and a series of tubes, okay?
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but all right, we'll go with it.
YouTube it. I'll post it in the chat.
I take your word. So we're live and off and to another fantastic start for the podcast this week. As I'm trying to figure out what this cable is that's underneath my desk. It's attacking my feet.
Okay, that's gonna be a new fun intro to the segment. What cable is underneath my desk today?
Yeah, exactly. What's not plugged in? I can't figure that one out either. Anyway,
How many Jawas does it take to make a Facebook post?
so
E3 was this week, Carter.
E3 is this week. It's still going on, right?
Yes, yes, it is. I think it ends tomorrow or Wednesday. I forget. Everybody's kind of got these crazy schedules with it, especially since Nintendo kind of participates. Sony dropped out. It's basically Microsoft, Bethesda, and EA showing off their goods.
It used to be so cool. I wonder if E3 will ever get back to being cool again. Well, you remember like way back when it was where like all the big announcements were, and everyone had these press conferences, and it seemed like they went on for weeks, and of all this cool, awesome stuff. And now, like you said, as people are dropping out, Sony, I guess, isn't there, but Sony's going to have their big
SonyCon or whatever.
So Sony conference. Microsoft has theirs on Sunday. And then I guess the Expo is today, tomorrow. I don't know if it rolls into Wednesday or not, but
yeah,
where people are going to get to walk around and visit. Anyone that's never been to a trade show or anything like this, you basically walk around to visit people's booths and you collect their free swag.
Too. You basically get to play with all the upcoming game demos and game consoles that are coming out. So E3 stands for those that don't know, is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and it's been around for a while. I used to work at GameStop. Can't talk either today, Lord. And it was pretty cool back when I used to work there. It was like a big to do, like you were saying. It used to be open to the public too. You just had to pay for your own pass, and you got to go.
Yeah.
And then I think the downfall to E3 really was when they decided to retract and make it you can only be a blogger or columnist, article, reporter, or you're in the industry to get invited to attend. And then they kind of opened it back up.
Was that just the press conference or the expo, the
All
whole thing?
They locked it down.
Wow.
Apparently,
Okay.
there's a lot of issues. People coming in and messing with stuff, and that type of thing, and either trying to steal IP before it was released, or like, hey, dude, I'll give you $50, you give me a copy of the game, or not more than that, but leaks and stuff happen, and they wanted to make it a better experience for the consumer and not deal with that kind of stuff, and so they closed it to the public. But now they've I think they opened the expo up to the public, but the the conferences and stuff, you have to have press packets to get through and all that, and all the credentials.
Yeah, I know. My buddy Jaden over at Info Arcade, he went last year, I think, and he went to the Ubisoft press conference and shot a little promo video where some of the directors working on Division said hi to me. That was kind of cool. But he's got YouTube. I think he got press pass and did all that stuff to get in. But just poor, guys on the other end of the console, the other end of the key, the controller. We just get to play the games that everyone talks about. So.
Yeah. I'd love to get to go. I think it's one of those things that's kind of like, I would just love to experience it. Even if I just could go to the expo and just kind of walk around and see everything. It's kind of like Comic-Con. I'd love to go there and see some stuff, but honestly, just kind of sit back and people watch. Get a box of popcorn and just kind of watch and see what all goes on and transpires. Because there's a lot of cool stuff, and then there's some stuff that's kind of like, it's a little out there for me. But that's okay.
So if you're going to people watch, would you rather do this or go to like San Diego Comic-Con?
Well, if I'm just going to go people watch Comic-Con, because you have people that dress up and some of that stuff's really cool, and you get to see people like the army of Deadpools or the army of Master Chiefs walking through. That kind of stuff's cool. But if I want to actually like go and kind of immerse myself in the area that I enjoy as a hobby and is my way of relaxing,
You-
I would definitely say E3 would be where I want to go hang out at.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So Brandon, what about you? You know, you haven't said
Uh,
much.
I'd definitely go to E3 over Comic Con. Much as I'd love to see Comic Con and hang out, I'd rather be at E3 where all the game announcements are. I'm excited for the Star Wars Fallen Jedi coming out. I can't wait. I hope EA doesn't disappoint me like they so often do.
I'm a little nervous. The game, yeah, I've got the video and I've got the gameplay. It's gonna showing up in the stream for me to see. It's just the gameplay trailer. Graphics look good on it. I don't know. The last only Star Wars games I've ever played that I really enjoyed were Dark Forces, Battlefront 2, and then Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. That was it. Like Knights of the Old Republic, I've got a copy of it. I think it just kind of missed its heyday for me. It's just not. I don't know. I'm hopeful though.
Yeah, I forgot who made
Respawn's involved, so we got some hope with this one.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I gotta admit, I watched the trailer and I like it. It's so I'm looking for one of my pads for my Elite controller at the moment. It looks interesting. It doesn't. It looks different than the Star Wars Battlefronts. I like the campaign story side to the thing. You know, I guess the time frame is sometime between Episode 3 and Rogue One, because Saw Gerrera's in it, so I guess there's some time frame aspect there. So, because even in the video they mention all the Jedi are dead, and there's one left. You know, kind of cool little aha moment. So, I'm excited for it. And, you know, of course, as the Nerf herders, we do like to talk about Star Wars, and that's one that one of the reasons we're looking for is more games around Star Wars. So, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm actually picking up on the Xbox instead of PC.
I will eventually probably get it, but I'm one of those people too. EA's track record, especially after Anthem and stuff, and with some of the other stuff they've had going on, hasn't been reassuring.
The greatest.
Not even the greatest. It's been a dumpster fire, but I'm not gonna get burned by this again. I'm not spending $60 on a game to end up I'd rather just roll it and set it on fire and watched it burn.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yep.
Made.
So
see, I like the Force Unleashed. I'm trying to figure out who actually released that. If that came out through EA or someone else.
I don't think that was EA. Well, I don't know.
Was that back when LucasArts was?
That was still LucasArts. That was still LucasArts.
There
it is. Yeah, but I'm excited for it. It looks cool. A new Star Wars game is always fun. There was before LucasArts, I think, was producing the Star Wars 1313, and then that got shut down once Disney bought us out. So now we're dependent on someone else to make a good Star Wars game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think I was very surprised with the release at EA. There was a lot of games announced. We had Halo Infinite. We've had Battletoads. Which I was very excited about. They're bringing back Battletoads and stuff. There's a ton of game announcements and stuff. But what I thought was really interesting is I didn't hear a lot about a lot of the Battle Royale massive shooter stuff. A lot of it was more focused around, hey, we want to have a campaign. We want to have a story. We want to focus on that concept, and so that was very exciting.
You talking about Microsoft's press conference?
Yeah, just from everything I've skimmed through in the news, I haven't seen a whole lot of Battle Royale news. I've seen mostly like any of the games that have been announced seem like they may have it, but there's they're more focusing on the campaign piece of it and stuff, which I think is nice. I think that's the vacuum in the market they're missing.
Microsoft's big announcement was more about a lot of the independent companies that they've acquired.
Yep.
And now part of the Microsoft Studios, and none of them are in that Battle Royale game type. So yeah, I'm with you. It's they're working more on, I guess, player immersion in the ecosystem rather than these looter shooter pay to win type game. So that's promising, at least from a game fan perspective, that they haven't just gone full cash grab.
Yeah. So speaking of looter shooters, Destiny. This came out before EA, but Destiny had their big announced launch for what was it? Shadowkeep.
Yep. So Bungie had a big announcement Tuesday. This kind of all comes off the heels after they had separated or parted ways with Activision, and so they released Forsaken and some of the season content stuff there. But the big announcement for them, is twofold. One, they're releasing a new expansion that they developed themselves. Therefore, they don't feel under the pressure of meeting to shareholders and I guess of Activision. But besides that, they also so it's a new player campaign. They're bringing back Eris Morn, who's a fan favorite of the Destiny franchise. She's the Hive.
She's Goopy Eyes.
Goopy Eyes, yeah, Hive priestess, if you will.
So for those who don't play the game, just to give you an idea of what this chick looks like, she was a Guardian. She was a superhero, super soldier that helped protect the Earth and had these specialized powers and stuff. And she gets stuck on the moon by this alien race called the Hive. Basically goes mad, if I'm paraphrasing here, probably a little bit, Carter. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And
walked around in the dark for 100 years.
Yeah, and basically takes the eyeballs of one of these guys and makes them her own. So she has 3 eyes and this black ooze that continually oozes out from the bandage under her, what were her eyes. And so I call her Goopy Eyes.
Yeah. No, it's pretty accurate. So she's one of the pivotal characters, non-player character in the story, especially when it comes around the race of the Hive. But this one looks kind of interesting. It's not necessarily Hive, but we have awoken nightmares, which were a manifestation of the darkness, which to me, it kind of seems like Activision. I'm going to go on a lore tangent here for a minute, if you'll indulge me.
Mm-hmm.
Activision, when kind of had a vision, in my opinion, of the darkness. And so the darkness was always kind of this mysterious entities. What are they? Are they beings? Are they just, is this just the something chaser? They never were clearly defined, but they start in Destiny 1. In Destiny 2, they started to give them shape and give them, at the very end of the campaign, we beat the story and then we see these pyramid ships. And everyone always thought that the pyramid ships were the darkness, and the darkness is coming back to kill the Traveler. And it seems like to me, just kind of going off my lore tangent, that Luke Smith and team, and Luke Smith's the lead at Bungie, is going in a different direction, because now they're saying and I might be wrong, but the darkness are this mystery thing that nobody really knows, and we're unleashing this nightmare scenario. So all the people that we've killed in previous games is coming back to haunt us, and so a lot of the raid bosses that we've killed so far, and a couple from D1 are going to be back. Omnigul is a wizard. It was a boss, strike boss. You hear her scream, and
oh yeah, the creepy scream that I always want to have as my text notification or something when you called me.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like they're kind of bringing back. I don't know if I want to say bringing back some of the old stuff, but it just seems like they're bringing back stuff that people enjoyed, I guess, or activities.
Well, if you think about it, if you remember, Destiny 1 came out, and it kind of got weird a little bit between. What was it? The Oryx expansion, and then the final, the Iron Banner expansion, and then it kind of got stale. And then basically they said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to give you everything. We're bringing back all the other stuff we kind of like got away with or put pause on for the other expansions. We're bringing it all back for the final." Yeah. And then that's all you saw until the next game. And I have a feeling this is going to kind of be their what is it, swan song that they call it. They're going to say, hey, we're going to bring all this real cool stuff in and give you a whole lot of gameplay to go into and immerse yourself into, and then we're going to go work on D3. So I have a feeling I'll be shocked if we see much more after Shadowkeep, outside of major expansions. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that I don't think there. I think Shadowkeep's the last major DLC for Destiny 2.
yeah,
I mean, there will be the season pass stuff. They've already announced that. So Destiny has like these 3 month seasons. Right now we're in season of opulence with a new raid, and new gear, and new levels. And every season they kind of up the difficulty and up the power level and stuff. So I think that will continue. But yeah, I definitely think this is the last expansion.
yeah,
I think we're safe to assume that.
yeah. So let's talk about I kind of call this Microsoft's Expo more than anything else because they were the one that had the big press conference. I know Ubisoft had one. They
Hold
announced.
on, before we jump into that,
Mhm.
let me cover a couple more things about Destiny real quick. So big, and Bungie has parted ways with Activision, and as a result, they're no longer. Game used to be on BattleNet, which now, as of today, is officially on Steam. And so they also announced there's no more console exclusives for Destiny. So they're not going to do Sony exclusives or Microsoft exclusives. Basically, everyone's going to have access to the same content, playable content. And they also announced a partnership with Google's new streaming service called Stadia.
Yep.
So if you're not familiar with that, Google Stadia is basically Google's game streaming platform. That their argument is you can play anything if you can play it on a Chrome browser, you can play any of our games through a Chrome browser, but they do have some hardware requirements for that. So with that being said, they've announced that they're partnering with Google's cloud streaming service. Now, Jason, go ahead with your Microsoft comment.
Oh, I was just gonna say I thought most of the conference was Microsoft. It was a big Microsoft show. Ubisoft had some announcements. I thought was interesting is Ubisoft announced two different medias that they're releasing. One's a Division movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain.
And I
coming
saw
on
what Netflix.
Yep, Netflix
picked
bought
it
the
up.
right.
Yeah.
And then there's another one to do with Apple. It's called Mythic Quest, and it's supposed to be like a comedy about these guys. It's gonna probably be like a Silicon Valley, which they're trying to launch this game. And it's them developing this game, and it's the story of that. So I think that should be that looks promising. Outside of that, they had some stuff for the Division 2 game. Nothing really exciting there. They talked about a new Rainbow Six. Again, Rainbow Six really has been, especially in this last one, very multiplayer, competitive shooter. That esports market, and they're saying that this one's going to be more co-op, story-based, kind of cool there. And then a Gods and Monsters game that's going to be Greek gods themed. That's made by the Assassin's Creed team. So Assassin's Creed's, but more cartoony looking.
Okay.
But Microsoft, like I was saying, they announced XCloud. That's their streaming platform, which I haven't looked too much into. I've just kind of glanced over it just because work and life has been consuming me. But I thought it was interesting. I came across an article that talked about how that's their streaming going to be their streaming service, but the only thing I've seen about it was real quick was your Xbox is your private xCloud server. So you have to have an Xbox in order to stream from, and I'm assuming it's to any device. But this article I came across was pretty brutal to the demos that were on hand at the expo because it was a specific type of phone screen that was fairly big, fairly wide, fairly consistent. They had a hardline internet connection for it, no wireless. And so I'm guessing that the xCloud is still in the alpha / early, very, very earlys of a beta, like not public beta, very private beta still. So it made me very concerned about that. I'm interested in it, but Stadia to me is a lot more compelling. Now I think what's kind of crap is, to get into Stadia, it's like you got to pay $120 for their Founders Edition right now, and it gives you a controller and a Chromecast Ultra. It's all the hardware you require. So you can play off of any other browser. What's that experience like, though? I don't know, because they say to get 720p frame rates, you can go off a 10 meg internet connection, and that's DSL speeds, and DSL is garbage. So I'm very skeptical of what that experience is really going to be like at the end of the day. For me, even though I live out in the sticks, if you will, or as you like to say, hillbilly Wi-Fi, I have a 142 meg internet connection, so I don't have any issues. But there's a lot of people who don't have that connection. So I'm really curious how the Stadia and the gaming streaming thing is going to work. I think it's very niche, but long term, it's kind of one of those things. If done right, we'll see the market adopt it. Microsoft's taken some things with xCloud that Steam did a long time ago with the Steam box and do the streaming, and they're kind of bringing it more to the forefront. because the market's matured, the technology's matured. So I'm curious how that's going to work. What do y'all think?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be the right internet speeds for this thing to be efficient and be viable. As 5G becomes rolled out across countries and all that, I think the mobile gaming space, obviously.
But do you think 5G is going to roll out right now with all the not to get too in the political spectrum, but Huawei's basically on lockdown from everybody?
Well, yeah, good point. So, but I'm.
Yep, I think I lost you, Carter.
His Xbox controller turned off, I bet you.
Guaranteed.
That's what happens to me half the time.
So, Brandon, what do you think about Stadia and all that? Oh, I think he's back.
Forgot. Yeah,
I'm not sure about it. I don't know how I feel about any kind of thing that says, it's a cloud-based service to play games and stream and game on. It's just, I'm old school. I want a console. I want a PC. I want my phone in my hand. I want my tablet. I don't know how I feel about something like that, because the primary thing for me too is, some games even now, there's still a few where, if my internet goes out or I've got a power outage, there's still, well, not a power outage, but there's still some things I can play if my internet's out. If my gaming is all through an online provider like that, I'll lose everything if my internet's out.
Yeah. Well, it brings up a good point. You don't own anything either.
Right. And that's a real...
They pull the catalog out from underneath you of the game. What are you going to do?
Yep. That's the real truth of anything right now. You buy anything from anyone's provider, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation Store, whatever. If they pull that content from the store, no refunds, no discounts. That's not yours. You're just renting it from us for $59.
Yeah.
So I worry with that, because even now when you go buy a physical copy of the game, half the time it needs to download something from Xbox or PlayStation Store or whatever to actually function. So it's like, we're almost getting to that point anyway, and my complaint, I'll just have to deal with it and live with it, I guess.
So get off your lawn.
Yep, yeah. Get off my lawn.
What I was saying
put the game
is
back on my lawn.
Yeah, what I was saying is with the mobile gaming and speeds of internet being improved and all that, I think I still think the best experience is played on a larger format screen, whether that's a 65-inch 8K TV or a 21-inch gaming monitor. That's your choice, but I still think the best experience is on a bigger screen. I like the concept, because a week ago, the other thing is Destiny announced the cross save, so now you can play on PC, save it off, and play it on Xbox, blah blah blah. But so I was excited about that. But the Stadia, because Destiny's going to Stadia, and that's the game I like, I was considering a Stadia subscription. It was like $9.99. I get to play the game anywhere on any device. So I guess as soon as Chrome browser comes to Xbox, I'll be happy. But then Microsoft announced the Project X Cloud concept of console streaming, to where and I get it. There's probably a lot. The demo may have been half baked, and you can't ever take everybody at their word at a trade show. You're going to get the most the most stable platform out there.
Well, I was going to say, if you look back to the what was the Apple movie with Michael Fassbender, they're sitting there hours before the first Apple II or whatever, when it talks to you, they're trying to get it to work. Like, well, we can make it work, and we can just do this or just play the. He's like, no, I want it to work. So there's truth in that. Like, they're trying to get it to work as best they can, and just have it to show off the actual experience. It may not be the format or connectivity you want, but people get critical of those things because it makes you wonder.
True, but the concept of console streaming, that I can play and I don't buy physical games anymore. I couldn't tell you the last physical game I purchased. It was probably Grand Theft Auto Vice City, to be honest with you.
Good game.
Great game. I buy everything digitally, therefore I don't have scratch discs and all that stuff. And so the concept of being able to stream my Xbox anywhere, I'm going to guess that it's going to be on the Edge browser, just knowing Microsoft, is I can play my Xbox, my games anywhere. And that includes Destiny 2. Because now Destiny 2 is on Xbox One, console streaming. I don't need to pay for a streaming service. So I immediately get excited about that concept.
I guarantee you they're going to use the Xbox app because you can download that app to your phone and stuff. And I guarantee you that will be the secure connection they use instead of the browser itself because browsers are a little more flawed. But I'm with you.
I did notice while you say that, I did notice that the Xbox app has changed names on my PC.
It's not called.
Now it's called the
console.
Console Companion.
Yep.
So I mean, you may be right. It may be through that, and that's totally fine. But now I don't have to pay for a streaming service. I can play the games I want on my console wherever I'm at. That doesn't mean I'm gonna take my brand new Elite Gen 2 controller, which looks incredibly amazing, with me because now it supports Bluetooth. I'm on vacation, and while my family's sitting around the campfire wanting to talk, I'm in running a raid with you guys. But it sure makes it compelling for me to take a controller with me on work trips.
Oh yeah. I think the biggest thing here is the market. You know, if you think about the market we're trying to tap, they are trying to tap with streaming in general, whether it be Google, Microsoft, Steam, Apple, whatever. They're not targeting the hardcore gamers. They're not targeting even the casual gamers. They're targeting like casual light gamers, people who are it's like, I'd love to buy a Switch, but I don't know. Or, it'd be nice to be able to play a couple games when I'm sitting in the airport or something and to kill some time. That's the market for this, I really feel like right now. I don't think it's made for the pro streamer or any of that stuff. I mean, I know there's some people out there.
No, probably not.
There's some people out there that hook their phones up to their PCs to stream playing PUBG on their phone. They've got a controller in hand and stuff just because they can. But I think it's a different scope of people because I look at Stadia, I look at xCloud, and depending upon how it all rolls out and what devices you can use and whatnot, I think about my kids. I want to use a keyboard and mouse. They're in a different generation where they could use their phone, they might like touch, or they can get the little companion controller and put their phone into it and play that way. And I can give that to my kids, and there's nothing the only thing they can break is the phone and the controller. They can't screw up the disc, they can't screw up the median. Switch I thought was kind of crazy when they came out with their platform. Like, who's going to carry that little dinky thing around and have that little screen? And, Brandon's waving on his webcam to us. He has one. And I've played on one. They're awesome. They're fun. They're surprisingly very fun to play in that scenario. So I think there's just a target audience they're aiming for right now.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's not going to be your everyday player. I get that. It's the convenience play, but it's also another way for I'll give Microsoft the benefit of the doubt to keep player bases on their platform for one, help players that aren't on their platform make their way to it because you see the simplicity of it all. Sony's gonna have a streaming service too, Sony PlayStation Now, I guess, but
they've had that for a while, but it's kind of flopped around because they used to be able to stream from like your PlayStation to a little mini PlayStation in your house home network or to a PlayStation Vita and stuff, but it went away, I think.
Yeah, so I don't think this is going to be, like I said, this isn't going to be my daily driver grind console platform, but if I'm on a work trip and Xur's selling an exotic I want, now I just can hop on and go buy it. I don't have to call you and say, hey, can you log into my profile and go see Xur and
get your credit card information and go on a shopping spree.
Exactly. So for that concept of it, I'm excited about it. And that right there, like I said, it saved me from having to buy Google Stadia to play, A, I'm not going to give Google any more money. B, I don't have to pay for a streaming service that I don't need because now my console is going to provide that experience for me.
Yeah. So we've beat the streaming horse to death, I think. And it can barely walk anymore. We'll put it out of its misery. Scarlett got announced. That's the code name for the new Xbox. And
do we see a price?
I haven't seen a price anywhere. And I've kind of talked about this, I think, last week, or maybe it was just with me and you on the phone outside of the recording. But, they talk about what is it, 8K, 120 frames per second, which is kind of absurd because that goes beyond what the human eye can actually process. And ray tracing and all this other stuff. And it sounds cool, like, 8K, video and FPS, high FPS, all this stuff. I don't care.
But they didn't tell us anything.
Well,
it's
Sony
They
really
told us
didn't
something
either.
we already
Though.
knew. You're making another
Well,
Xbox. Awesome.
and the the anyone in the industry or the business is like, they made this big deal about SSDs and storing things to
Yeah.
memory. It's like, oh, so now the consoles support persistent memory. That's all that does.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody's like, well, Sony already did that. They've got the new SSD. They showed a demo with Spider-Man and 0 load times. I'm like, so they use a solid-state drive to get some performance. Good for them. Yay. Like, I don't know. I just was very, like, to me, a console brings one thing to the table that I dislike as a PC user. And we have experienced it the past 2 weeks now, it seems like, with the stream, is something goes awry and the audio doesn't want to work, or I've got an update, or before we even started, I was on Skype with Brandon, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm getting OpenGL error codes on my PC," which is like, I haven't seen OpenGL like verbiage since 2000, and it was something with my video driver. I had to restart my system twice for it to work, and then of course the audio got messed up. So with a console, you theoretically don't run into those issues because it's the
True.
Ronco cooker. You set it, you forget it. It's self-managed. It's an appliance-based experience, so you can just do. And,
Yep.
I think that, depending upon how much the console is, people are going to be like, $1,000, that's ridiculous, $800 or whatever. I'm going to say it's going to be less than $1,000, but more than $600.
I
I'd
think
agree with
they'll fix
that.
about a $400 or $500 price point if they're smart. No one's going to pay more. Than
How are you going to make?
for a
How are you
console.
going to make that kind of? I mean, I would be very surprised from the performance standpoint alone. They're claiming. I'd be very surprised because to get that same performance in a PC, you're looking at $1,500 at least.
Yeah, but if they make that price point $600-700 on a console, you're also going to be paying now $80-90 for the standard edition games too.
True.
They're gonna raise the price of the games, and people aren't gonna want to pay that much for these games. I mean, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the new Halo, the new Gears game, whatever. You're
Halo
gonna-
Infinite,
they're gonna-
on 8K ray tracing.
So what
I'm
is
not
ray
a Halo.
tracing?
I'm not a
Enlighten me
Halo
to that.
guy, but
Does anybody know
I
what
don't
ray
know.
tracing is? I've heard this brought up so many times. What is ray tracing? Brandon, do you know?
I
Nope.
just think it's polygon count and high end graphics.
I
It's
think
it's
I
the
looked it up
new.
at one point. It's basically how light refracts against an object to make it look more realistic, which I really don't care about. Like when I'm playing a game, they look great as enough as it is. I know I'm not playing in a realistic environment. When a giant dude's in armor walking around punching aliens, it's not going to look realistic to me.
Well, it's not gonna look any prettier than it can because we can't see 120 frames a second anyway.
Exactly.
It's gonna be. It's good. What it's gonna be like when we first saw 1080p. We're gonna look and go, that doesn't look real.
Yeah.
True.
It's gonna look like that again. It's gonna be where, remember you used to walk in Best Buy and they'd have that thing showing a DVD where everything's blurry and then it bring the line across the street. This is Blu-ray, and you look and go, that doesn't look real.
Yeah.
And we're
It
gonna
looks
have
like
the
I'm
same thing
looking
again,
at CG.
right? Nothing's gonna look real anymore. Even worse because we can't comprehend what we're looking at because we can't see it.
Yep.
I think
I
a
mean,
lot of it is fancy sell to sell a new product.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna rush out and buy day one new console. That's not my. I'm in agreement with you guys. I mean, but I think to assume that with because it's what they partner with AMD for the processors, and
Yeah.
if you ever priced out a video card, a video card, a shitty video card is $500. And that can't do 8K ray tracing, all that stuff. There's no way this thing's going to be under. I'm with you on the price. I think it's if I had to pick a price point, $750, just to split it down the middle, because it can't be $500 because they're going to lose money.
Yeah.
Now, if the long-term plan is we'll lose money for the sake of streaming services, then they're going to lock you into like a three-year commitment or something. Okay, but I don't see him doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. And I feel bad. We're kind of poo-pooing on the whole thing, but I get excited about consoles. I think it's forwarding the movement of gaming, and I think we're at this point where we're seeing console and computer gaming merge together finally, where the performance that you want to have and the experience you want to have on a PC, but put in an appliance-based solution like a console, we're there.
Mhm.
But I don't want to deal with the PC. I don't want to deal with the patches, the updates, the updating of the video, all that stuff. I just want to turn it on and play. So that's where we're seeing that convergence. And what's really going to happen, I think, is we'll converge, and then that's where streaming is going to become prevalent because games are cross-platform, and Xbox Game Pass for PC was announced, and they have PC Game Pass Ultimate, which finally I thought was interesting. They're combining Xbox Live and Game Pass into one subscription, which I don't know why it took them so long to do it, but those types of things are all occurring too. So it's very interesting to me. I'm very curious. Probably in the next decade, what we'll be gaming on and playing on. I have a feeling we'll be in a very much more mobile environment by far. But I'm really surprised about VR. Really hasn't, in AR, still hasn't come to the threshold with anything substantial. I know PlayStation, I saw an ad today for some kind of VR game, but it's very quiet still. There's not a lot of VR stuff going on, or am I wrong? I'm just not seeing a lot.
I think it's still too young. I'm with you. Surprised there hasn't been more push to that, but I don't know. I look at those sort of markets and I think immediately of the Xbox Kinect. It's like great technology, great idea, just hard to execute on a mass scale that's financially feasible.
Yeah. Most of the PCs are VR ready now. So if you've got a decent graphics card and 4 gigs or so, like my PC that I have is VR ready. I could get an Oculus or any of the headsets, whatever the consumer HoloLens is or whatever else, and hook it up and do stuff. But to me, it's like I think about it. I'm sitting here at my desk. I have a mic in my face. I have wired headphones. I have wires, getting around me. And you put this headset on, and I know Oculus came out with a new one that's wireless, or HTC did, but all those wires with it and stuff. I'm like, how is this a fun experience? I feel like you're going to trip over something or pull something off your head. I don't know. I think it's still very young. I think they're trying to figure out the technology and the market for it. I think that there's a lot more prevalence in the commercial side of it, but gaming-wise, it's still pretty new. I would rather go pay and put a headset on and play a game like in an arcade that's VR, where they show the guys like sitting in play, running in place because of the pads and stuff, and they're doing that kind of stuff, than playing it at home.
Yeah. I've not played with much of the VR at all, so I'm not sure how it really works out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the evolution of wearable technology. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want a bunch of cables, and I don't want that roped off experience like you go to the mall and play at the Microsoft Store or Best Buy where they have the VR setups. I don't want to do that. I'd rather be sitting still and control myself with a thumbsticks or something. But I don't know if that's what you were talking about, Jason. But I just think it's a infancy, and it's just a matter of price.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I'm kind of looping the trailer videos on the stream right now. The Destiny's new announcement looks great. Battletoads looks really, really fun. I was very excited about that. I mean, Brandon and I used to play Battletoads with one of our buddies all the time, and we had one of those rear projection TVs. Had the plastic on the front of it and stuff. And it's a stupid level where you had to ride the little jetpack cars to get across the gaps, and no matter how many times we did it, we'd always die. Or you had to jump between the ledges and stuff. So I'm ready to have some rage out incidents with that and seeing what happens. But Star Wars, I'm nervous about, but Halo looks cool too. Anything else? Did you guys see any other announcements that were pretty exciting to you guys?
I haven't followed up much of what was today. I just gotta pay the bills sometimes. So I don't know what else has been announced on the Microsoft side. The Elite controller, the new Elite controller looks really slick. I like that. The fact it has a built-in battery, no swappable batteries anymore. 40-hour charge, 40-hour to game charge. Some of that stuff looks cool. One thing I saw on the wrap up of Microsoft's video is they were showing a rundown of some EA titles. And am I wrong to say that college football is coming back? Because they showed like the NCAA national championship. on a football game. So I'm trying to figure out what that was all about.
I don't know. I didn't see it. So sorry for anybody who's just listening. I was pulling up some more stuff that got announced. My browser started playing music, so everybody probably heard it on the stream. But yeah, I don't know about that. I know Square Enix had their announcement today. So there was the Final Fantasy VII remake that's coming out, and then the Avengers game. I'm reading up on it just now about what's going on with that. And Nolan North is involved in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Northbot.
Yeah, Northbot. We don't have Dinklebot anymore. I miss my Dinklebot. That sounds really weird now that I think about it. Peter Dinklage
I'm
played a
real curious.
character's voice in one of our video games, and he was a robot. We called him Dinklebot.
I'm really kind of curious about the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, where you're combining your Xbox Live and your Game Pass subscription into one thing to get it all together. And if I read it correctly, it's going to tie in that there's coming out with a Game Pass for PC for Windows 10. So you'll be able to get all three items with that one $15 a month. Gives you Xbox Live, it'll give you Xbox Game Pass, and it'll give you Game Pass on PC.
Yep.
So
Now, I know we talked about this way, probably one of our first couple episodes we ever did the podcast for, is getting streaming service to death. If this is going to, I don't know. I tried the Game Pass. I wasn't just overwhelmed with the game titles. So for that, I'm not getting excited that that's coming out, to be honest with you. But if somehow, and I know Microsoft has rental agreements with movies because they share a bunch of that stuff on their the Xbox store, but I mean, I would pay, I don't know, $30-$40, probably max a month, what I would pay if I had games plus music and entertainment and all that stuff.
that would be cool. I like the Game Pass because for me, I got an Xbox One S. That's the first Xbox I've ever owned. So for me, getting the Game Pass is really cool because it allowed me to play a whole bunch of games that I missed out on.
Yeah.
And I think to me, maybe that might be what the actual Game Pass target audience is. It's people like me who never bought the Xbox and finally came into it and got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, here's a big library of our most popular games that everyone loved. Yeah, I've been able to sit down and play through all the Gears games, so I'm excited for Gears 5 to come out now. I played the Fable franchise, never played it, so I got to play through all of it. What else have I done? Crackdown is awesome.
I did not like I did not like the new Crackdown. I played it on PC. I don't know what it was. There's something about it I just didn't enjoy. I loved Crackdown 1, and Crackdown 2 was okay. Crackdown 3 was a letdown, pun intended. But yeah, I think you're right on Game Pass. I think the interesting thing for me on Game Pass is I have been a Xbox Live Gold subscriber forever. And when Game with Gold released, I was, regardless if I wanted it or not, I was like, I'm gonna download it and own, or quote unquote own it. And so if I ever want to play it, maybe it's something that comes out as a quiet release and then becomes a cult classic or something. And when I got Game Pass, I looked in and it's like, 70% of what's in Game Pass I have from Games with Gold plus a couple extra things. Sea of Thieves was cool. I liked it.
I mean, the Games
I
of
didn't get into
Gold.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I mean, I did download there's a new golf game came out last month. I got that. It's pretty fun. I played it a couple times. And Brandon, you may be right.
Too.
And I'm, while I'm at a hotel Wi-Fi trying to download an update for Destiny, I start downloading NHL 19. So thank you very much.
Payback.
Yeah, I guess. So, well, I might have to explain that at some point. But I'm with you. Brendan, you made a good point. I'm maybe not the right guy for the audience. So, taking it with a grain of salt.
Yep. I'm also on Nintendo side. Call me crazy. The new Pokemon game is exciting to me because I've been waiting for them to put a full Pokemon game on the Switch, not like Let's Go Eevee, but a whole new title out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What is it? Sword and Shield or Sword in the Stone or something?
Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
No.
And Shield.
That reminded me, there is a game that I'm excited about. And I am in no way, shape, stretch, a Minecraft fan. But Minecraft Dungeons look really fun.
It does.
It did look really fun.
That reminded me of old stand-up arcade game Gauntlet.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Gauntlet. 4 players running
Warrior
around,
needs food.
and it also had a little bit of a Legend of Zelda feel to it. I thought.
Yep.
I'll tell you, y'all should. Ubisoft did their press conference. Gods and Monsters
Yeah.
looks very Zelda-ish to me. That's
Yeah.
I looked it up too. A lot of people said the same thing, but I was watching it and saw it, like that looks a lot like Zelda, and our Breath of the Wild Zelda. And then Blink, I found it online too. I was like, well, I'm glad my opinion was correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'm reading up some more on this Avengers game that got announced by Square Enix, and I'm not looking too excited about it. You know, it's the cinematic features that they use to start with features Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Cap, and Black Widow, and it's a glimpse of gameplay as well. And you'll play as those 5 characters who are played by Nolan North, Troy Baker, Jeff Shine, Travis Willingham, and Laura Bailey. So you play as the Avengers themselves, and then over time they'll add more regions to unlock, and you can play online with them is in a group of 4 to begin with, and then as you unlock regions, you get more characters. But you're just playing as the Avengers characters. Like they've kind of played these games out before. I felt like.
Yeah, that's an old concept.
That's like Ultimate Alliance or some of those games, isn't it? I think Ultimate Alliance is the fighting game, right? But there was there were those Avengers games where it's like you could play Wolverine
Avengers and
X-Men
titles that were like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch the trailer. I can actually fully pay attention to it, but I'm not too excited. It's gonna come to PS4, Xbox, and PC. But of course, since it's Square, they're partnering with PS4 first, so the beta will come to them first. And then there's the Final Fantasy remake of of 7.
They're doing a remake of 7 and 8.
No, they're doing a remaster of 8. It says Final Fantasy 8 remastered.
Well, that's true. It'll just be remastered. It won't.
Yeah.
The remake of 7 looks kind of interesting. They've switched it to like Final Fantasy, 14's more live battle system than the old ATB system that was in the old one. So I think it looks kind of neat. I'll probably end up with it owning it to play it again.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like there's some stuff here. This Final Fantasy game, to me, it's a 2-part tale they're calling it. So they're going to do episodic releases or something, it sounds like. Oh, no, it says the entire remake will take up to 2 Blu-ray discs. Yeah, it's PS4 only, so I may have to get a PS4 for it. I don't know. We'll see.
You're on your own there. I'm not buying that thing.
So.
Not touching that with the 10-foot pole.
I don't know.
There's no reason to. Microsoft has announced 70 games yesterday. What has Sony announced? And all these
show up.
Yeah.
Exactly. But still there's Spider-Man. Woo. I mean, and I was watching the stream on Mixer yesterday, and all these Sony fanboys come in there and just take your L with the console war again. We're gonna clean the floor up with you. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, you guys are so full of shit.
I think what's interesting for me is that with when it comes to the console systems, why is it that if you ever notice it, I feel, and this is just me from probably the side of the PS4 fanboys are jerks. The Microsoft people have a little more. You're just kind of like whatever and move on. I don't know. Camden on Facebook was watching with us, and he brought up a good point. I'm just now catching up on comments, but he's very surprised that they didn't do it sooner with the Game Pass and the Game Pass and Xbox Live on the Ultimate thing as well. So I think that's a good call out too. Is I think that's there's things that are happening that are just make more sense from a business standpoint too.
Well, 2 things I would like to see Microsoft do. One is implement like a true family pass that provides Xbox Live subscriptions for everybody. Because, my daughter plays, my wife has an account, sometimes they log in as me, sometimes they log in as them, blah, blah, blah. But if my daughter wants to play games and she doesn't have a gold, she basically has to sign in as me and her unless they've changed that. I would like for them to implement like a family
Well, they used
solution.
to have it. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I thought that if you have Xbox Live and you make that Xbox your home Xbox, anybody who logs into it can play on Xbox Live because the home setted user is the one that has the subscription, so anybody else can tap into that.
Well, technically, my home Xbox is in Tennessee.
And mine is in Oklahoma, so it should work.
So
Fluke of the system, Microsoft. Suck it.
yeah. I just wish they would,
I wish
offer
they'd
that.
simplify it. I kind of wish it's like, hey, I'd rather just pay for the games with gold and some kind of premium service or fast lane for better performance or whatever else to stream off of. I know you get into some legal stuff there, but just let online gaming be free. I mean, I don't have to pay anything other than my internet provider to play on PC. Let's make it simple, people. So,
Yeah.
Do you want to beat up on Fallout 76 at all, or have you already done that to death?
No, in the past we have. I know they got a new battle royale coming out. Woo, Fallout 76.
They're doing what's that called? A Wastelanders expansion to Fallout 76 that's adding NPCs to the game.
Oh my gosh.
After they said they would.
Well, they got to go back and fix all the screw ups they made. BioWare, I guess, just buried themselves, and they didn't want to show their faces because they'd probably have stuff thrown at them all day.
What would you if you were them?
No.
I think the biggest thing I'm excited about of everything I've watched for E3 is still Doom Eternal.
Yes.
I can't. I'm always going to be for Doom. I can't wait for the Doom Eternal to come out. It looks great. It looks really exciting.
I need to go back and play the other. Was it Doom 3 and some of the other ones I never played? Because you had it when we were. Well, you had it, and I tried to play it, and it creeped me out too much. It was like you had to walk around. You could use it as a flashlight or something else, and they made the mod where you could duct tape the flashlight to your gun and some other stuff. But it's kind of funny you talk about Doom. I bought for $5 Quake, and it's all the expansions for Quake included, and I've been playing Quake. That's been fun.
Yeah. Now, Doom 3 had some ramped up the jump fear factor, something that the new Doom doesn't do as much of. I still remember playing Doom 3 years ago, and you'd be walking around, and I'd heard it one time. You walk up towards a broken elevator, and so you heard this one, "Help me! They took my baby!" And it's like, what? And because even in your headset, it was just a whisper. So you turn around, and you got close to the door, and then something like jumps out of the elevator and makes it look like it grab you, and it makes it like you're trying to run away from the thing, and it's actually like a trick of the game. It wants you to walk forwards. Then you're falling down an elevator shaft, and right as you are about to land, the effect stops and you splat onto the bottom and die.
Nice.
But they had little jump scares like that, and in this Doom, they don't have that because now you play this ultimate badass.
Yeah. I always like a good Doom game. I'm actually going to probably go back and play Doom 2 and Doom 1 just for the fun of it. But
and I just laugh that it's on the Switch. Doom Eternal on Nintendo Switch.
Mommy, can I get Doom?
Wait a minute.
Sure, Billy.
I'm trying to figure out.
It'll be like, what was
Doom...
it? Ralph breaks the internet. The bunny gets the pancake. Pop.
I think Doom 2 I played. That was on PC. I remember that one.
Yes, that's where you get the chainsaw.
And then
100 times.
What about Quake? When did was that who made Quake?
ID Software.
So they made Doom 2 and Quake?
Yep.
And Quake, the original Quake disc, if you had it in while playing, played Nine Inch Nails in the background.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it was pretty hardcore. It was fun. We had a set of old
ratings.
Back in about 2002. The church I was a part of had about 6 computers they set up for a computer lab for the student ministry, and I installed Quake on all of them. And we used to sit there and
LAN party at the church.
Yes,
play Nine Inch Nails,
playing Quake, and the most graphic, violent, demonic hunting game in the world. But I justified it. We're killing demons.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, we're right at time. The only other thing I want to talk about, I don't know if Brandon wants to divulge into it too much, is he shared it on Facebook personally, but Baldur's Gate 3 was announced, and I've heard about the other two. I've never played them. What is Baldur's Gate, if you can tell us in 30 seconds or less?
It's a place in the Forgotten Kingdoms where bad things constantly happen. You want to have a D&D game where everyone's going to die? You start in Baldur's Gate.
Okay. But is it like a play style like the Diablo games, or is it a play style that's turn-based? What is the play style?
The old games were turn-based, kind of not a top-down like Knights of the Old Republic, where you could pause the game, tell your wizard and your fighter and your cleric what to do, then unpause the game, and they'd go start doing those actions, and you might have to pause it again and reissue a command or do something else or change something. It's a really good series. The Baldur's Gate games on the PC were really good. Baldur's Gate 2 is in Eternal Classic. I'm really excited for Baldur's Gate 3. Other than seeing a Mind Flayer pop up out of some guy, I have no explanation of what's going on. I don't know any of the story. I'm just excited about it because I think it's going to be interesting. And I'm surprised so far I've seen no information about it. I mean,
Okay.
it is E3 and no one's talked about it yet that I've seen. But like y'all, I'm still catching up on E3 footage because I thought it started tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, it's coming to Stadia. I'm posting a link in the chat you can look at. So, Carter, anything else you want to talk about or close us out with?
Yeah, I'll just share real quick. I was just doing internet searches. I remember all those old LAN party Quake Doom games, and there's a new Unreal Tournament, and I just posted it up in our Discord.
Oh,
For anyone listening, there it says Unreal Tournament pre-alpha season. I don't know what that means. I haven't played Unreal Tournament forever.
Oh man, we had that on school servers.
It might be fun to kind of get some of these LAN party style. I mean, granted, WAN party now, but get some of these games back together and play with some PC folks.
I think that was the most enjoyable thing to me is just it's the massive multiplayer shooters, but it's not like there's skill involved, but it's just fun craziness. It's not like Overwatch where it's like you can't be the healer and the tank at the same time. It's just you run and gun.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I got out of the Navy, my first job, we would go up on Sundays, work for a software company, and we had a staging area where we would design, set up, networks and for software solutions that we sold, and we would go up there on Sundays and just do LAN parties, like 8 or 10 of us, whoever brought their PCs up, and we would just game share and all jump on, and we played Doom and Quake and all these games. And one of them you could turn the gravity off and
oh yeah,
turn up.
That was Unreal Tournament. Did you turn
was
the
it
gravity
Unreal?
off? Yeah, because you could jump really high and stuff, and then you could add bots in and not have bots. And they had the nuclear rocket too that you could control and kill everybody. That was awesome.
So those are good times. Nah, I just I guess closing it out is I'm glad to see that maybe we're getting back to some simpler time in gaming. I know with the console streaming, all these streaming services and all that, I do think that the battle royale, hopefully the genre is weakening. I mean, I haven't seen if Epic is at E3, if there's some new Fortnite, PUBG, Madness, or any of that stuff. But
I have a feeling if any of those are going to get announced, they're just going to get announced out of cycle, like Apex did. Fortnite kind of came out of nowhere. PUBG, I don't know if it was ever at E3 really. It just kind of was like a release too. So I think if you're going to see the battle royale stuff, it's either going to be included in the game or it's going to, be one of those quiet, just hey, here it is, go play it, please.
But maybe so. So, but I'm excited for what's coming up. I definitely think the streaming stuff looks cool. I mean, we didn't really talk much movies or anything tonight. I went and saw Godzilla Saturday with my daughter, and I enjoyed it. Maybe we can table that for next week. But
yeah, I saw Detective Pikachu finally.
I really don't have a desire to see that. I wasn't a Pokemon fan.
It's not even that. I saw it just because Ryan Reynolds was in it. I just thought that would be funny.
Yeah. And 2-second review. Okay.
Redbox it. It's not Green Lantern bad, but it's not. I don't know.
I heard the same thing about Dark Phoenix. I heard that movie's trash.
Oh yeah, I heard the same thing too. So I don't know. I want to go see that. There's just, again, it's just, I don't know. I think they can make more of the Detective Pikachu style movies with the Pokemon stuff if they could develop an actual continual story. But that is a one-off. I thought it was funny in some parts, but it was definitely for kids. It was definitely, but it was good. But
so it wasn't Deadpool.
No, it wasn't Deadpool Pikachu, which would have been awesome if he just walked out and just started dropping F-bombs and punching and shooting people and cutting them up. Like if his tail was a giant katana sword and he just spun around and like chopped heads off of Mew and all the other Pokemon to win, that would have been entertaining to watch. Disturbing, but entertaining to watch.
Yeah. All right. No, I mean I don't have much else to say. Yeah, like I said, it's an hour, so Next week, do we want to do a recap episode 3?
Yeah, we'll do episode 3, and we need to figure out when we want to start bringing back the Midlife Crisis matinee and talking about movies.
Okay, we can figure that out. Maybe once we get done with Star Wars, we'll look at bringing that content back in. I found a new app, or my Emma found this new app, and holy crap! You go look through the. Let me see if I can find it. Goki or Rogi or. I don't have it installed on this app, Xbox. Hold on a second. I take that back. I can find it now. The heck is it? Anyway, I'll put it up in Discord. But if you go with the Cult Classics tab, it's like every movie we've already watched. Mac and Me was on there, by the way. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai was on there. I mean, all these. Do you know the app I'm talking about? They have it on Xbox, but so all these cult classic movies that we liked are on there. So maybe we can throw that on there in case Blockbuster doesn't have the movie we're looking for. We can talk about it. But you're a nerd. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks guys for hanging out tonight with us. Anyone in the audience that dialed in and contributed in the chat. Sorry, I didn't have chat open. I was playing Destiny while we were talking because I get to do this via my Xbox tonight. We appreciate everyone stopping by and hanging out with us on a Tuesday night, especially
it's a Monday night, friend.
Monday night. Yeah, that explains a lot. Monday night, you have nothing better to do. So hopefully next week we'll talk about Star Wars and see what else. Maybe the aftermath of E3. There might be something drops tomorrow. Big news drop or something like that we can bring up next week. And then otherwise we'll just keep cruising, talking tech and games and entertainment and movies and stuff like that. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Nerf Herder Radio. Twitter at Nerf Herder Radio, Facebook here, obviously at Nerf Herder Radio. You found us if you're listening to us tonight. And without further ado, the force be with you always.
Peace.
Later, gamers.
Thanks, guys.